What's going on, everybody? Matt here. Thank you for checking out this video. This is a review of the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is a new Star Wars Disney Plus show that was developed by filmmaker Jon Watts. I was excited about the news of Jon Watts developing a Star Wars project. So obviously with Skeleton Crew, a little hesitant at first. I feel like sometimes a Star Wars IP and these projects that have come out could be hit or miss. You know, some of the shows I absolutely loved and some of them I was not a fan of. And with Skeleton Crew, it was this dynamic of, am I gonna love it or am I not gonna be such a fan of it? And when the first couple of trailers came out, it wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was enough to give you a sense of what they were going for. And, you know, I feel like recently, a lot of the reviews that we've been seeing about Skeleton Crew have been saying it reminds you of Amblin projects, it reminds you of the old Steven Spielberg 80s films like E.T. and The Goonies. These first 2 episodes feel just like that. It feels like this beautiful mix of the old 80s Amblin projects with these coming-of-age science fiction films, but also mixing beautifully with the Star Wars universe. And it feels like while I was watching this show, you know, you see the main character, Wim. He, you know, a wonderful actor so far, wonderful performance from all these kids, but it was funny to see him play with action figures and to like see through his eyes the mythology of these stories of the Jedi. It feels like this is a love letter to those kids who grew up loving and understanding and like having that nostalgia of what Star Wars was to them. I love the innocence of the myths behind what these characters knew about. Episode 1 kind of leaves off on this note where these kids see something that we're so familiar with and we understand so well, and I don't want to give any spoilers. They see it through their eyes and they're terrified. It kind of takes some of these things that we're familiar with Star Wars and turns it on its head a little bit. There's just so much to love about this show so far. To go and talk about some of these kids in the show, these kids were amazing. All of them have given good performances so far. I am such a big fan of film scores, and I'm such a big fan of what John Williams has established. For the longest time, they didn't necessarily give an announcement to who was composing this show, but as soon as I heard it was Mick Giacchino, who just recently came off The Penguin, I was ecstatic about it. The score that Mick Giacchino brings to this show is so amazing and so full of life and excitement. It feels like that adventure. And what I also feel like when I was listening to this was, it wasn't just Star Wars, but it did remind you of those Amblin projects again. The cinematography as well. It's one shot in particular in the very first episode that both my wife and I stopped and we went, that's pretty cool. That looks great. When you see the shot, you'll know what shot I'm talking about. I feel like this show is probably going to be one of those examples where Disney gave Jon Watts half the budget of something like The Acolyte, and he produced something so amazing out of it. Seeing some of these sets, obviously it's CG, obviously these sets aren't not all of them are practical, but it still felt like a large scale production. It still felt like this things I was looking at is something that I would see in an actual theater, which again, some of these Disney Plus projects kind of lose that a little bit. You kind of lose a sense of, you know, the scale of what Star Wars is. But with Skeleton Crew, you feel that sense again. You feel that large scale that this show had. So yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season. I'm excited for what Skeleton Crew is going to bring to the Star Wars universe, because that's the important thing, is that when you're watching it, you could stop and say, this feels like in the Star Wars universe. And if the rest of the season lives up to what these first 2 episodes brought, then I think it's going to be a great season and maybe, just maybe, the best Star Wars show yet. Again, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you can, please like and subscribe, and hey, leave a comment. What did you love Skeleton Crew so far? Are you into what this show is bringing? Are you excited for the rest of this season? Thanks so much.